Those were two of the most horrible, most uneventful, most boring, most snail crawling ass, most phone dry having ass days I've ever experienced, but I needed it. Let's chat about dopamine. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter which makes us expect reward, like good food or good sex. So going after those rewards is what really makes us motivated to do things. So without really needing to say this, dopamine has been very useful to us in terms of survival and also reproducing. And to be quite frank, I don't think humans would have survived this long without it. However, there's always a however, isn't there? Chasing after a dopamine hit is not always a good thing. And contrary to what a lot of people believe, dopamine is not a pleasure chemical. Just because you did something that caused a dopamine hit does not necessarily mean that whatever you did was pleasurable or hell, even good for you. But unfortunately, the brain sees dopamine in a very black and white lens. It says, see dopamine, get more dopamine, pretty much in a nutshell. And that right there is the problem. You see, back in the day, the only real way for you to get a dopamine hit was for you to do things that were useful and actually beneficial to your life, like hunting or bringing back that food to your family. But nowadays, you can get a dopamine hit from damn near anything. And you might be thinking like,
well, damn, that sounds like a good deal, Glass. I can get my dopamine from anywhere and a lot easier.
And my response to that would be, hell no, that's not good. It ain't good at all. In today's world, distractions are everywhere, and billion-dollar companies are doing anything, and I mean literally anything they can to control your attention. And that has led to a mass overstimulation in society. But that's not all. With this overstimulation, people are feeling more anxious and stressed than they ever have. People are overindulging in things that they know aren't good for them. And people have lost the ability to focus. Let's keep it 100. And because people have the access to get their dopamine hits wherever and whenever they want, they no longer feel the need to go out and do those things that are useful and beneficial to their life. But I mean, why would you? When you could just pull up your phone and hop on the hub anytime you want. And for me personally, okay, for real, I was struggling with this stuff as well. Recently, I just really wasn't feeling like myself. I wasn't really going after the stuff I needed to be going after. I realized that instead of making videos, I was spending hours and hours on YouTube. I realized instead of doing the things I know I needed to do, I was spending hours consuming TikTok and Instagram. I just didn't get it. Me, Glasgow, said I wanted these goals over here. But anytime I was doing something, I was doing stuff that would lead me over here. Basically, I was fucked. And that's when I knew something had to change. Okay, so I alluded to this a little bit earlier, but the basic reason I'm doing a dopamine fast is because I want to take back control of my life. I want to be able to do the things that are meaningful and fulfilling to me, and I want them to actually be fun again. So with that being said, for me to really get the most out of this experiment, I felt like I needed to become an expert at it, or I felt like I needed to at least have a very thick knowledge of what I was going to be doing and what I was going to be talking about. So I read 25 blog articles on it, I watched 15 YouTube videos about it, and then I read 2 books about a dopamine detox, and that was pretty much it for my pre-prep for this experiment. And now that the pre-prep was done, it was time to do the actual prep. So the first step was, in one of the books I read, it wanted me to list out all the things that I was doing in my life that was either distracting me or leading to overstimulation. So that's what I did. I started making a list of all the things that were very distracting to me, and there was a lot. And side note, I found out a lot of this stuff was the stuff I loved so damn much. Next, I made a list of all the things I wouldn't be partaking in anymore. Things that would give my brain a chance to actually reset itself. So the rules were: no social media, no YouTube, no podcast, no coffee, no stimulants, no movies, no sex. I mean, I was already doing this with semen retention. Look, don't even ask questions. Just don't ask. No sugar, no carbs, and then no unnecessary phone use. And then lastly, I picked the amount of time I was going to be doing this detox. And I think 48 hours seemed like a good place to start. It seemed like a good place to really dip my toes in the water and see what this was all about. And just to make sure I was extra prepared, I went ahead and deleted all distracting apps on my phone. I went ahead and muted all my notifications. I threw out every piece of junk food in my house. Guys, I really wanted to get the most out of this. I really wanted to get the most out of this experience. Day one was a lot harder than expected. Like, you guys don't get it. I'm freaking addicted to my phone. And on top of that, it's so hardwired into my morning routine. When I get up, that's the first thing I do is get on my phone and stay on there, probably stay in my bed for like the first 30 minutes. So this was a lot tougher for me to do when I couldn't have my phone and do all the stuff I was used to doing. On top of that, another big struggle I had was I really love to listen to inspiration and motivational videos on YouTube in the morning. It just helps me get up. And guys, when I didn't have that option, when it was taken away from me, ooh man, it was not easy, let me tell you. So on day one, I decided to change it up. I decided to leave my phone on the charger. I decided not to touch it. The next thing I did was I decided it would probably be a good idea to get out into nature, take my pup on a walk like I normally do, and get out into nature and experience some of that. And issue I ran into is that when I do those walks normally, I'm normally listening to something when I'm on the walk. I'm normally listening to something motivational, something, learning something, just something to distract me. And without my headphones, guys, it was tough. And I was just listening to the leaves rustle and stuff. It was not easy. But honestly, after the first 5 minutes of that, it kind of passed over. And I actually started to enjoy the process. I realized that when I was doing those walks before and I had my headphones on, I really wasn't paying attention to what the hell was going on. I wasn't looking at anything. I was always inside my head. So when I took those headphones off, it forced me to be out in the present. And those leaves that were annoying me because they were rustling, I was starting to pay attention to them. I was starting to pay attention to how the wind was blowing, how the trees were moving, all this different stuff that I had never really looked at before. Overall, it was a little bit of an annoying experience, but it also taught me be more in the present moment. After I got back, I decided to make some breakfast, which was a really good step for me because normally at this point in the weekend, in the morning, I would be about 3 to 5 mimosas deep and on a one-way ticket to Buzzville. After breakfast was done, I realized that really only 2 hours had passed and my worst fear was confirmed. My worst fear was that time moves incredibly slow when you're on a dopamine detox or a dopamine fast. But I'm not a victim, so I wasn't just gonna sit there and feel bad for myself. I decided, look, if I'm gonna be bored, I need to find some ways to use my time effectively and to make it fun for myself. So I decided I was gonna spend time on all the things that I had been putting off. I mean, hell, what the hell else was I gonna do? I couldn't do nothing else. So I grabbed my journal and started writing down all the stuff I knew I needed to be done in hopes of filling up my day. Side note, I realized that all the stuff I was writing down was stuff that I had been pushing off for so freaking long. Could it have been that I was always too distracted with my little YouTube breaks or my binging YouTube or my binging TikTok that I was not actually doing the things that I knew would make the most impact on my life? And instead, I just kept pushing them out for an ungodly amount of time, which was 3 weeks. It was a big wake-up call for me. Why aren't you doing these things, class? After seeing that, I thought, okay, maybe I did need to do this dopamine fast. Another thing I noticed is that without all my little YouTube videos and my little podcasts to listen to, I was forced to deal with the never-ending, non-stop mind chatter that I always had. You see, when I had those videos, when I had those podcasts, I could always distract myself. I could always listen to someone else's voice. But now without all that, I had to listen to my voice. And I'll be real with y'all, a lot of the times it was not positive. And I dealt with that in 2 ways. One was staying really close to my journal and just writing down all my thoughts, seeing what feelings I was having, why I was having those feelings, and why those feelings were reoccurring thoughts. And the other way was just really getting hands-on. Guys, I love my electric unicycle more than most things in my life. And to be honest, for the last 2 to 3 months, it has been broken and it has taken a major drain on my mental health. I love to ride my little unicycle, bro. But the truth is, I've avoided fixing it. One, because I suck with tools. I'm terrible. My dad tried to teach me, but I didn't listen. I suck with tools, and it was just too hard for me to figure out. I didn't want to put the work in to actually figure out what I needed to do to get this unicycle back up and running. But now, since I had nothing else to do, I felt like now might be a good time for me to work on it and get my baby back in the streets. One crazy thing that I found while I was working on my electric unicycle was I started to get lost in the work. I was starting to work on it for 4 to 5 hours at a time, and it actually was enjoyable. Not to mention, I made significant progress on the repair. I even got past some barriers that had stopped me in the past before, like 3 times. It was a stripped screw, one screw that I literally could not get out because I had no idea how to do it, so I had just quit before. But this time I was determined and I was facing those problems and I was overcoming those hurdles. And guess what? I finally got the screw out. Me, the guy that don't know how to use no tools. Something about having less distractions had me really dialed in and had me really willing to overcome any obstacle and hurdles that I was facing, in particular with this electric unicycle. The rest of the day was pretty straightforward. Cooked a nice healthy meal. Then I went to bed really early, like the nice wholesome boy that I am, with hopes that I could at least watch some TV in my dreams. Day 2, weirdly enough, I woke up with a lot of energy, and it was probably because, honestly, the 8+ hours of sleep I got, but it got me thinking like, man, how much sleep was I getting before? Turns out it was only 5.5 hours. So no wonder I was freaking tired all the time. And then it dawned on me that's why I wasn't craving the stimulants and the coffees I was using before, because it was like I was actually well rested. Turns out when you get 8 hours of sleep, you're not tired the next day, and you don't need coffee to get you up when you get the proper amount of rest for your body. You know, just a little facts for y'all. Anyway, today I didn't have too much on my plate because I got the unicycle taken care of. So instead of sitting around on the couch with a thumb in my ass, I decided to hit the gym. Now I'm just keeping it 100. It was extremely awkward to be in the gym, lifting weights with no headphones, no music. Has anybody, leave a comment if you've ever done that before. That shit tough. It's hard. It's not fun doing that. But there were some positives that came from it. I was able to focus on a different level. I was able to get a better mind-body connection than I've ever had, just by lifting weights without having my headphones, without having music blasting. So I didn't like it, but it did have some benefits to it. Right after that, I cooked another healthy breakfast, and then usually after breakfast is where I'd screw up on my weekends. I'd sit on the couch, probably drunk a little bit, binge watch YouTube all day for a couple hours, take a nap, and then by the time I woke up, half the day was already gone, and I ain't done none of the stuff I was supposed to do. But this time it was a little bit different. Because I had not given my brain all the dopamine that it's used to receiving with all the apps, all the girls, all the drinks, all the YouTube videos, it was hungry to like get that dopamine. It was hungry to get up and do something, get up and solve a problem. So I tackled the next hard thing on my to-do list. Okay, so keeping it real, between me and you, I'm not too fond of my current job at Yelp. I don't really like it. Am I cold at it? Yes. Am I good at it? Absolutely. But I don't like it. And so anytime I have a task with the word Yelp on it, there's like a subconscious thing that happens. I just start pushing that away because I don't really want to do it. But today, no. It was a different day. My willpower was on level 100.
It's over 9,000!
So I found a cold call script in my Apple Notes. I started to rehearse that script over and over again to the point that it became second nature to me. And I would have never done this in 1,000 years had I not given myself a chance to dopamine fast and give myself a chance to reset my brain. Because I would have never done it. But I did it. It paid a lot of dividends too. After that, I spent a little bit of the day grocery shopping. And when I was doing that, everything was very interesting to me because I didn't have anything else to do. Then I took some time to really clean and organize my house, just getting ready for Monday. I also cooked another healthy meal, because I'm trying to get lean on these boys. And then finally, I took my wholesome self to bed at 8:30 again because honestly, it wasn't much to do. And honestly, I was just really freaking bored. Like if I'm just keeping it a buck. But all in all, a dopamine detox, dopamine fast, whatever y'all want to call it, was one of the hardest things I ever had to do because you really do have to eliminate all the things you love to do that take up your time, all your vices. You got to cut them out. And then you got to start learning to have fun with some of the more, wholesome things in life. But I will say the things I did during that 48-hour dopamine fast were the things that were truly important to me, were the things that would truly make the most impact in my life. And I was proud of myself for doing those things. It was almost just like, bro, why are you skipping these things when you know you should be doing these? Why are you doing that? And I was able to overcome that and actually do the things that I knew had meaning to me. The worst part of the whole thing was my brain was really just tricking itself into thinking that, all the busy work you're doing while you're pushing off the important stuff, all that busy work was good for you, when it really wasn't. I wasn't doing anything. Was I busy? Yes, but was I productive? Hell no, I wasn't. And so what dopamine fast did for me was allow me to procrastinate less and allow me to focus on the things that really matter. Not to mention all the tasks that I worked on, I was able to work on those for 4 to 5 hours. And I have never been able to do that in my entire life, usually 1 to 2 hours max. I was truly in a flow state. And on top of that, I definitely saw an increase in willpower, focus, determination, and the ability to solve problems, the ability to figure things out, and the desire to actually want to figure things out. So overall, it was just honestly, it was a great experience. If I'm just being real, I loved it because I came into work that Monday more fresh and more vibrant than I ever had. You guys don't get it. For me to get to work, for me to get in this office by myself, get these cold calls going, it usually takes me 2 cups of coffee just to even start, bro. But when I did dopamine detox, bro, I came in refreshed. I came in ready. I came in hungry. I came in engaged. And the results showed, bro. The results showed. So I am a big advocate of doing a dopamine detox, doing a dopamine fast to reset your mind, bro. It really does make a big difference. It really does help you in the things that you're trying to accomplish, and it really does help you in life. So overall, I would recommend dopamine detox for most people watching this video. Me personally, I'm gonna be doing like a dopamine light, a version of it, going through for the rest of my life. I'll probably once every quarter do a hard dopamine fast just to really reset things to get me started again. But with all that being said, guys, I hope you found value in this video. I hope you appreciate it. And if you did, come on, help your boy out. Look, I'm doing all these experiments because I want y'all to know what's best for you. Help your boy out. Go ahead and hit the like, hit the sub, hit the bell, join the gang, and I'll catch y'all in the next video. You know what it is. Your boy Glasses out. Peace.